Welcome back. SEBI has introduced listing obligations and disclosure requirements. Now, some of the key amendments have been done for investor grievance reporting, corporate governance, compliance reporting, secretarial audit requirement, and many others. To discuss this, we have with us Sanjay Ashar, Senior Partner at Crawford Bayley, along with our Moin, Ladha, Partner at Khaitan and Company, joining in. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining in. So, Sanjay, first just tell us, what is it that SEBI has announced, the latest, and what are the key changes? You're on mute.
Sorry, I will rather step back for a minute and then we can start the discussion. This is the 48th amendment. I repeat, this is the 48th amendment since the time SEBI brought out the LODR regulations of 2015. Now, in 9 years or 10 years, if there are 48 amendments, I mean, there has to be the way of doing, ease of doing business in India. Now, listed entities with these amendments, I mean, continuously keep amending. You had from 1956, since the Securities Contract Regulation Act of 1956 listing agreement was doing well. And people would argue to say that, no, it's a listing agreement between the stock exchange and the company, and therefore it does not have binding effect. But people miss a point that in case one did not comply with the listing agreement, okay, there was criminal prosecution also available with the legislature, with the execution for the purpose of implementing it. Now you replace that with LODR regulations. Okay, fine. You replace that with LODR regulations. You bring out 48 amendments in the last 9 years or 10 years. Every year you keep amending it. Now in 2023, there were 9 amendments. 2024, fortunately, and hopefully this is only the 3rd amendment. 23, 9 amendments, 22, 7 amendments, 21, 7 amendments, 20, which was the COVID year, 4 amendments, 2019, 4 amendments, 2018, 6 amendments, 2017, 3 amendments, 2016, 2 amendments, and then in 2015, 1 or 2 amendments. I mean, the point which I'm trying to make here is, yes, you keep amending it, but there has to be some completeness at some point in time. One would say that with ever-changing environment, ever-changing ecosystem in the country, in the way people are doing business, digital world, this, that, and the other. But other countries, other developed countries also have stock exchanges which may be larger than what we have.
Sanjay, that grievance is well, taken about the number of amendments that have been introduced in the last 9 years. But since we're short of time, if you could tell us the material changes and why are the latest ones introduced?
Introduced in order to bring out the better governance, whether it is secretarial audit or whether it is the whole-time employee, which is the senior management personnel, okay, which is one level below the board of directors. So these amendments are all very welcome for the purpose of better governance, for ensuring better compliance. So there is no complaint on the amendments which they have brought, okay, and the senior management personnel can be labeled as a key management personnel. My only point is that, yes, these are welcome amendments as far as the regulations are concerned. But however, there has to be a finality in all the amendments once and for all.
Right. Thanks so much for that, Mr. Sanjay. Moin, just bringing you into this conversation, I'm sure you've had a chance to look at this particular amendment that's come in from SEBI.
Right.
What your opinion on 3 points? The first one, of course, being on the open offer. Number 2, as far as related party transactions are concerned. And number 3, fundraising activity by the board. What is it that has changed from what was earlier present?
I think on the 3 points, I think on the first point, really, we have very clear, sort of requirements to make disclosures in the letter of offer when you are taking control or acquiring control pursuant to an open offer. My reading seems to be that this current amendment, which deals with reclassification of promoters, while it specifically calls out that any reclassification pursuant to IBC, that is bankruptcy, proceedings, is really going to be exempt from the procedures. My reading is that the same thing may also apply to open offers, because there's a specific requirement now to mention about your intention to get reclassification as a promoter done in the letter of offer itself. On the second point regarding related parties, and the third point, I've seen, there are provisions that relate to easing the process, particularly in a dynamic environment where, it is only evolving, and one has realized that there are some transactions, let's say a RPT, which would involve a retail purchase from one of the related parties. Now, if it is being done on the as a one-off transaction without there being a commercial relationship being created, or if there are related party transactions which are on a continuous basis being undertaken, there is no, you can really have like corporate actions, which otherwise are giving the same treatment to all other shareholders. And lastly, there can be omnibus approvals also granted, and ratification be done subject to a certain amount of, threshold. So I would summarize that the takeaway really is that while there has been easing of provisions done, at the same time, three key things have been kept in mind as SEBI's broader objective, where we are trying to bring in regulatory alignment, we are keeping in mind continuous corporate governance structure, and also investor protection. So that's how I would, really summarize it. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for that, Moin, as well as Mr. Asher, for joining us and giving us a sense of the SEBI amendments, like you mentioned, the 48th amendment. Well, with